welcome back to Can You Relate? And before we start, I just want to say shout out to everyone that has been watching, liking and subscribing and sharing it with everybody. We are so grateful. We love you guys. So today we have a very wonderful person in our midst, an amazing human being, a wonderful Christian, an amazing wife,
amazing teacher of the world,
a teacher,
she's usually dissecting the Bible every Sunday. She's
dissector of the Bible.
Throughout this, COVID period, like, I'm really watching her every Sunday on my laptop. It's just like, I'm like, yeah,
give it to us. We are here
every Sunday morning.
Tell us, we are.
No.
So we have in our midst Mrs. Bolu Odukomaya. Hi guys.
Yeah, how is marriage life?
Marriage has been good. It's just that I learned that it's way more than I thought it was. It's about sacrifice and like selflessness. That's just it. Like selflessness and sacrifice every single day, every day, not a day to stop. You can't be lazy. That word.
So there is work in marriage. It's not just this
big work.
It's not this romantic thing that we see that we have in our head.
Well, Nollywood is doing, or maybe Hollywood is doing wonders, but it's way more than what you see on the screen. And yeah, you can't slack. There's no time for slacking. If you slack, then you see yourself. Like you see the results of your slack.
I want to hear about you as well concerning marriage and how the journey has been for the past 2 years.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, like she said. Like you have to, it's work also. I mean, like everything good is work, but also it depends on like the work can be tedious or can be one that it's maybe a lot, but it's enjoyable. There are two different things, like when you have a subject that you really like even when it's so much, you don't mind doing it, you don't mind going with a subject, you don't mind attending classes, doing assignment. But when you have a subject that, oh my god, like you're even trying to study it, but it's not even coming, it becomes really, really frustrating. So I think that's the way it is. It's the same thing with all parts of life and everything. Like, you have to be selfless because it's not really about you. When you were still single, you're like, it's like I'm going to do whatever I want, when I want, how I want it. And you're like, even if I quarrel with the person I'm going out with, I'm going to be fine. I'll just give him a break. He'll come back and beg me and all those things like that. But when you enter like marriage, it's really not about you. It's about both of you. So some things that may be nice for you, but it may not be good for both of you put together. So you have to let go of that to look for what is good. And it brings in a lot of maturity. Like you have to be matured to be able to like enjoy your marriage. You have to be able to grow, like you have to grow, and you have to be able to understand some life principles like that, because as a woman, like young woman and everything, like you're coming into the marriage, there are voices shouting, you have to be submissive, and there's voices shouting, no, you're a woman, you have to stand on your own, you have to do this, like your man should not ride on you and everything. Like, you have to find your own truth. What's the definition of submission and everything? But one thing I really learned, or I've learned, and I'm still learning, is that your marriage, you should not compare your marriage to somebody else's own, because both of you are two different people, and you just really have to have a way of understanding yourselves put together and look for what works for you, how it works for you. There is really no one way to eat and everything. And I think trust your husband, since you're a wife, so I like trust your husband. Like, I mean, like, before you enter the marriage, be very sure that like he has the best interest for you. So because there are some decisions that we have, you're going to be like, what?
Exactly.
But because you trust your husband, you trust that he's not selfish, and whatever decision he's taking, it's not in bed from, or just about himself and everything like that. It's easier for you to make sacrifices. It's easier for you to be like, okay, like I know, okay, I'm going to mellow down right now. Like I'm not going to show right now. Like, or I'm going to mellow down on my demands right now and everything. It's easier for you. so many things, yeah, and then like communicate. You have to learn the best way to communicate with your husband.
Yeah.
You have to learn. It's
True.
different. You have to learn the best way to communicate with your husband, the best way to, and you have to be humble.
Wow, there are a lot of tips here. I think we can go on and
We can go on and on, like humility.
Marriage is the whole thing. Like you said, it matures you way faster than you ever think. As soon as you get in, like it's not, as you said, it's work. It's just like you are investing into something and then you see the returns at the end of the day. You are happy, but it's not like it was fun when you were investing. There are days that you are not happy about some of the investment. Like I'm not talking about money, but maybe school or like all those sleepless nights. And then when you get the diploma, you're like, oh my god, I did it. So every work you put in, you see it, and that's how it works. And both of you are growing. You see, that decision part is a big, because when your husband makes certain decisions, you might not agree with him, but at the end of the day, trusting him is
wow.
the biggest deal. Yeah.
That's really interesting. What I can summarize from all of the things you guys have said, I mean, by the way, I'm really lucky that I'm talking to you guys. I feel like I'm
You're
being
so
lucky.
lucky.
It's really going to be easy for me.
Yeah, you're so lucky. So you understand that women are not that complicated.
Okay.
We are not.
We
Just need to understand us.
yes, they are not complicated. Yeah, I agree.
You should ask us what we want
What
as wives from husbands.
Okay. What do you want?
Oh, there's a lot.
What do you want?
That's the whole topic.
What would you like to see?
Okay, like this is general. I am not talking particularly to my husband. Disclaimer.
Alright.
Disclaimer, like, okay, shout out, Obi, you're doing great. He's listening.
Damn.
You're doing amazing. I'm proud of you.
Okay.
Proud of you, but sometimes, like, I don't know, because I remember that I've once told my husband, like, you need to have empathy. Like, they always feel like because they can do things as a guy, so I should be able to do it. I should be able to do it easy. You people should understand the same women are very emotional and everything like that. And I think guys are emotional too, but it's a topic for every day, but they just try to hide their emotions. But we women, like right from onset, we learn to express our emotions, which I think many guys now are trying to learn how to express their emotions. Yes, I know you guys have a lot.
Okay.
It's okay, fine. Thank you. Express it. So I just think that for men or for husbands and everything like that, try to be empathetic. I think that's the right word. Empathetic. Like, we know you guys can do it without any azu and everything like that, but we may not be able to do it, and it should be okay. You guys should just try to put yourself in our shoes too and be fine with it and support us. We know you guys are supportive and everything, but there are some kind of support we want, like emotional support, not just with money or trying to help us get some things and everything. Sometimes just listen to us and just show us that yes, like even though you can do it, you understand that we cannot do it. Thank you.
I once read don't ask me why I read this book, but I read the book once. Okay, don't ask me why. I'll tell you later, but don't ask me. I read a book once by I think John Gray or so. It was Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I had motivation for why I read that, but don't ask me again. But what I could gather from that was the way men and women see things generally. I mean, of course, we cannot generalize every time, but then the way we see things are a bit different. For example, we have this, for me, I know that I have this solution, Mr. Fixer kind of heart that I'm usually putting on. So when you're telling me about your problem, I'm like, what can we do about it? What should we do? What are the things that we need to just solve? I just go into solving mode.
Yeah.
But I am realizing when I read that, I realized that sometimes that's not what you guys need.
Yeah.
You just need someone to listen and be like, oh, that much didn't feel bad, and just support and be empathetic and just listen, really.
Yeah, I think the issue there is that even when you guys go into solving mode, you don't carry like the women in your lives along with it. So it's like most times just like, oh, babe, this is what is happening and everything, and maybe it's something you can go on internet. You just carry your laptop and you start typing, like you start searching for it and everything, and without even like acknowledging the fact that okay, you understood our place and everything. Like okay, so babe, this is what I'm going to do. Like you guys are like, and maybe like after you've solved it, you now come back to her and be like, oh, I got these. Like this is how we're going to go about it. I think it's just like for some women, because it's not every woman, some women don't mind you helping out or sorting it, but I think like it's communication. When you let her know that this is what you're planning, that you're going to be, and I think it's okay for you to, even if you're going to go into the saving mode and everything, like it's okay for you to first of all be like, okay, I understand and everything, okay, I'm going to do this. Like it's kind of comforting, it's kind of calming, that you going to like the Jesus mode.
Yeah, there was a time that I was having this issue with someone, like my business, when I was running my business. So I gave it to someone to take care of it, and then again messed everything up. And there was a client that was on my neck. I had to pay back the money and everything. And then I was telling my husband all I needed was just comfort and just to feel like, oh, I was listened to, or somebody hears me, or oh babe, it's going to be okay. That's all I needed. My husband kept me. Like, why? He said because he doesn't know. Later when we spoke about it, he said he does not know the solution to give. That's why he couldn't even do anything. He couldn't even say anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, why do men always
You see, we
like,
are not complicated, you see.
like sometimes all we need you to say is, oh, it's going to be okay. That's all. At that moment, and that's all we need to hear at that moment. So
it's not bad when you tell us at that moment that babe, it's going to be okay. Right now, I don't know what I can do, how I can go about it, because it shows that we have both in this together.
Exactly.
Like you're not leaving me. You stay quiet is like, babe, I don't know whether I should take that. Oh, babe, you're on your own, or babe, I'm with you. So, and you know that so many things are going on in our minds, and you're like, wait, I don't mess up. My husband is not saying anything. Maybe my husband has even warned me before.
I think that's quite nice, because not how I see things generally is because previously, every time, not my female friends, I'm not even dating anymore, but then female friends just tell me, this is the problem I'm having. I'm like, I actually like a project, and I try to solve, and if I can't solve, I feel bad. But I'm learning these days that sometimes you don't even have to give a solution. You can just be like, oh, how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? You guys are very smart people.
Yes, we
so
are.
you know the solution to your problem.
Most of the time.
Sometimes you just want to be listened to, and then I go into what I'm trying to do more these days is be like, so what are the options you think you can take? What are the solutions that you think you can use to solve your own problem? And just listen, and just hear people out, and you guys will figure it out. You don't actually need those men sometimes to help.
Yeah, but sometimes we need you exactly. So I think that's where the complication comes in, for you to know where we need you without us asking you. And where we just,
I feel like most of the time we already know the solution to our problem. We just need, for instance, if a boss, I'm working with someone and I don't feel good working with a person. So, like, I don't need you to start asking me, what did you do to the person? No, I did not do anything. I just want you to hear me out that, like I already know how I'm going to actually approach this person, or maybe I will just, leave this person in his own space or in our own space. Don't come and be telling me, are you going to leave the company? I don't need it. Like, I just need you to hear me out. Oh, I don't feel comfortable. Oh, it's okay. It's going to be fine at the end of the day and everything.
Sorry, again, that's our complications.
Okay, so that's one thing. You need men to be more empathetic.
And they should listen.
Listen. Okay.
Listen, not hear us. Listen.
Listen. So there's a lot to unpack in that. Just because listening is because the thing is we are never taught how to listen. Because we were taught how to read from school, we were taught how to write, we were taught how to analyze and solve problems, but we never were given like a lesson on how to listen and how to actively listen to people. So it's something that we actually have to learn. This would help in marriage and generally in life, because when you know how to listen properly, you get to the root of issues, and then you know how to ask proper questions, you know how to actively listen, you know how to, and many things, like many skills, actually. So yeah, listening. Okay. Next question. Listening and empathy. Do you have any other thing that you want?
Well, I think it just borders more on if you listen, most of the half of the problem is solved basically almost every time, and being empathetic, like just being there for me. Like it's not like you are not there, it's there, but you know, there are times that I just need you, I tell you something and all I just need, oh sorry. Like it's that simple. And you know, we women, we have thoughts now. We already programmed the answer we expect you to give, and then we don't
And you
get
guys are not
it.
complicated. Yeah, you're not complicated at all.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, I feel like half of the problem
Listening.
is solved with
So-
listening and empathy.
So there is a big communication skill to have before entering into marriage or learning it inside of it. That's one thing I know that I have to. I don't
Yeah,
know
you
how.
have to. And I think like one thing is for like don't generalize. Your
Yeah.
wife is your wife. She's not other women. Like you have to learn the behavior, the character of your wife. Because she's a woman doesn't mean she's going to behave like, because you get situations where people like, she's a woman. And for me, because in some of those cases, like I personally wouldn't react the way like maybe majority of women would have reacted and everything. Like, it really pains me when people come up like that and they're like, oh, you know, she's a woman, and so you have to be careful with her, you have to be doing this with her. And then I'm like, I'm not even that kind of person. So it's really important for men to get to know, like if you're dating or you're like your fiance, your like whoever, and then your wife and everything, get to know her personally, get to know, don't make the mistake of generalizing her. And I think it's the same thing goes both ways. But I think men are more affected. Like we women, okay, another thing that like we women are more like we try to understand our men more than I think for especially for Christian women, for women that are really, I'm not talking about all those like people outside that like men are dogs and all those things like that. I'm not coming from that point of view. I'm coming from people that they're saved, like Christians, they don't believe men are dogs and they believe men are wonderful gifts from heaven and everything like that. I think you guys are like you guys are really amazing and everything. The same way we two are amazing, so they make But I think that it's easier. For example, okay, let me give you an example. Like when a woman is talking about her husband in the public, the woman is eager to talk about the many wonderful things about her husband. Even before the woman easily covers her husband.
Yeah.
But when we turn the flip it to the other side and everything, I think men are more moved to talk about the things that are not so right with their wives than the things that are really amazing about their wives. So I've noticed it. I've seen it. Like I've noticed it. Like with society, like moving with like married people and everything like that. And that's, I may be wrong, but that's one thing I've come to notice that men are it's not like their wives are not amazing, but when they're talking, they're more, maybe because they are this kind of goal people, and maybe like the wife is not meeting a particular goal in their head and everything. So when they're talking about that's the first thing they see. But we women, maybe because we love to show off also, so we just show off the good side of our husband and hide the bad side of our husband. But men are like, I feel like most majority, or not majority, I don't know like that, but like okay, few, let me say few of some of them, like they are eager to talk about, oh, my wife is this, before they will not talk about, oh, she's amazing. But by then the first things that have been said. So I think men should learn to cover your wives better. Like I think they should come and learn from us how we cover them. Like this thing.
Yeah, another thing I would like to say is men need to learn how to say sorry. Don't use don't use like things to cover up. I know that for guys, I hear that for guys, when you guys have issues, you just say, have you seen that much or something, and then you bring it to me. I'm a lady. Tell me proper sorry. Tell me I'm sorry, babe, because I did this. Don't come and say, babe, how are you feeling? And you think that you have told me sorry. No, I'm not going to take it. Like, I still told my husband this morning, you owe me an apology. Because it was already telling me, babe, how far? Moving away from the topic. Uncle, we had an issue. Tell me sorry first before we can move on. Like, and yeah, it's so easy for them.
How much
to
will you
say,
pay for this?
It's so easy for men to say, oh, babe, how far have you eaten? And they feel like they have apologized.
Interesting.
Don't come and tell me I am sorry. Then I can take it as an apology. Don't come and tell me, have you eaten? And you think there is an apology. No way.
Okay, so properly talking about issues and addressing them.
Yeah.
That's interesting. This is good for me. I have two senior sisters that are both married as well. So it's a lot of lessons and I'm I think I need to start experimenting this.
Actually, you should start with
Egyptian
your with not even that. Like I think most of those principles and everything like that. I don't think it's not only applied to marriages. Like it's easier when you start like your friends, your the way you treat them and everything. I think it's easier when you get to the marriage because it has become a part of it and it's not something that I think the mistake most of us make is that for marriage that we're just like, oh, marriage I will just change and I will like if I was this kind of person before, like when I enter marriage I will just change and transfer. It doesn't work that way. So it's most of these things are applied to friendship also. The way you treat your friends and everything, just use for everybody in your life right now, that for the singles and everything, for everybody in your life that are friends and everything like that, use them as rehearsal. I'm serious. Use them as rehearsal. Use them as how you're going to forgive. Use them as how you're going to communicate. So that when you get into the marriage, it's very beautiful. Believe me, it's wonderful. It's amazing. So please, you need to come and join us. You pay fine. No, not fine. You pay entrance.
That's very interesting because I mean, the thing is, these are core changes in your heart, and there is heart posture changes, behavioral changes, and these behavioral changes will not only affect one person, the person that you want to get married to. These changes would also affect how. So if you start practicing early and just become that person, it's easier when it's a marriage. And because people are like, for example, just example, you are rude when you guys go out on a date. You are rude to the person that brings you to the waiter or the waitress, and you feel like this guy, but because it's me, he's going to love me differently and he's not going to be rude. You find out that if he's a rude person, he's going to be a rude person at some point. He likes you. See, men are at our niceness, at our nicest when we are wooing you, right? Of course.
You're
But
very,
then,
very nice.
so-
You can watch somebody sleep.
exactly. So
But then
when you enter,
You're like,
many of these things will fade. So you get to see the original person, and that original person that is rude to the person that does it. So you have to find out, how does this guy treat someone that is of no value to him, or someone that he doesn't even like. Because that would tell on, because at some point I feel like you guys will know better, but I feel like in marriages, some days you wake up, you're like, I love you, but I don't like you today.
Oh, my dear.
You are, you see, let me tell you, you are annoying.
You are preaching to the choir.
You are annoying today.
I've never had that feeling of I woke up and I don't like you, or I've had a feeling of like you're annoying because maybe like I was expecting something, I'm expecting you to do something and it wasn't done, and then I'm just like, what's wrong with you? I'm just like, wait, I'm married, right? Like it happens. Like that's another topic. Like forgiving in marriage, like forgiving, and then like knowing the things to talk about with the other partner, and know the things that you have to sort out yourself, and like also being prepared for the other person's reaction and being able to like deal with it. But see, it's not that it is, but I just think like, it's not like it's this very complicated. I just have to understand a whole truth, and it's different. I think like for us that we are Christians, like it's amazing. Like it's easier for us to do some things in the marriage, because the days that you maybe like your partner, or okay now we are wives, so the day your husband like do something that on a normal day you would have just played her, but you know that if I play hope, it's going to be from fire to fire.
Yeah.
Like you know that because you're a believer, you can go to God and be like, God, this one you have given. You can report him.
Yeah.
You can report him to God, or you can be like, or you could be like, you can really go hard, pour your heart to God, and God can tell you how to go about things, or God can tell you, or you can even lift the burden from you. Now, by the time you're getting up, or by the time you finish and everything, like you even forgot. It's as if no, it did not even do anything to you.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I have a very wonderful example. Like when I got married, I feel like I've really grown in this 1 year because evaluating things I used to do. So at the beginning, there was a day my husband offended me, and I was like, God, I'm not gonna forgive this guy. He said some things that were really hurtful. It's not like, because one thing I realized that your partner does not intentionally want to hurt you, but it will happen because this is the person you love the most and trust the most. They will say things that they really do not mean in the heat of the moment, in the spur of the moment. So he said some things that it was really, really painful. I was like, God, and it was like, forgive I said I was wailing in my room and saying, Holy Spirit, like I and Holy Spirit had a full-blown conversation on this forgiveness thing, and I was like, no, I always forgive you. You have to forgive. Like I literally felt Holy Spirit urging me and petting me and telling me, sorry, it's going to be okay. You just have to forgive. There's another day I came to church, I was angry, my husband annoyed me. I just opened my Bible and I saw, be angry but do not sin. I'm like, Holy Spirit, can you allow me to have monopoly on my anger?
It's like, that's again, like, why are you on this side?
Yeah, like, can you just allow me to have monopoly on my anger? I just want to be angry. And like you said, as believers, it's easier for us because we have the Holy Ghost. Every time, you're just like, it's just like, oh, it's okay. I really understand you. It's not like I'm on his side. I'm also on your side. But at the end of the day, you have to forgive him, and he has to forgive you. Like sometimes I literally feel like Holy Spirit is telling me what he's telling my husband. And at the end of the day, I just see him coming to apologize. Sometimes to brighten with food. Yeah. Like those moments, I always feel like, oh well.
Okay.
Some days I don't feel like eating it, but we eat it out of love. But then, that's the beauty of being a believer and married, because being married is not like, without the Holy Spirit, I feel like there are so many things I will have done wrong. I'll be like, I think I will have about bitterness. But the days when you pray and you just pour out your heart, and like that's the essence of real fellowship anyways, because you are able to exactly tell God how you feel. God, I'm angry. In short, I'm even angry with you, God. And I feel like people think that it's a bad thing to express your emotion to God, forgetting that God actually put those emotions in you for you to express, and it needs you to tell him exactly how you feel so that you can accept comfort. If you are not open to it, it's very difficult for you to accept comfort.